Okay. Can you hear us?
Can?
Yes, we can hear the English interpretation now.
Great.
Perfecto, ahora me voy a mover al español.
Now I'm going to go to Spanish because our presentation is going to be in Spanish. Our first speaker will be Representative Javier Martinez, who's going to say a few words to us. Go ahead, Representante. Good evening, good afternoon, family of New Mexico from El Centro, Café, Somos, and all the organizations that are, community organizations that are here. I'm very happy to be here. I'm sorry we are not in person like we would have loved to have been here. You know, we're so used to doing it with a march outside the Capitol, but because of the pandemic, we're here through Zoom. I would like to repeat that two things. One, the compromise that we have with this legislature, with immigrants and with the working people, the ones that get up early every day to pick vegetables, to work in the oil fields, to work in the laundries, in the offices, the mechanics, cleaning homes, everything. This legislature for the last 5 years, it's committed to one and twice to represent the interests of our community. If you see the proposals that have been approved in the last two legislative sessions, they have been proposals that have been very early education and child care and health care. Remember that we passed two very important bills last time. Not to discriminate according to immigration status in our health program, the Health Affordability Act. It passed underwater is the beginning of what we want to do for next year, that it will be a health insurance for people who don't have any access to Medicaid or the private insurance. These are very important, and we are very proud of these bills. And the bills that have been approved in the fiscal level, and according to with taxes, that has to do with those two that he just mentioned, and working families tax credit. We are one of the few states that doesn't discriminate according to immigration status, and we will continue working with funds to support families who cannot work because of COVID and that they don't get any federal relief. These types of money have been important. That economic stimulus for families is very important. We have done some, but we want to give more. And we want to get more money for that program. This legislature is not just committed to immigrants. It's made up with immigrant roots, and I'm gonna say it until they cut me. Yeah, we are not just a legislature that has allies, because it's not only the allies, it's people like me, like Angelica Rubio, and many other representatives, Patricia Caballero, who come from immigrant roots, either that our parents or grandparents were immigrants, even us are immigrants. That's very important, because we're not talking about a legislature that supports us. We have a legislature that supports us because we have legislators who are immigrants, or we have immigrant roots. legislatures that what it is to make a life in a strange country where we don't know the laws, nor in some way. You know, my mother and my father are not in this call, but in each one of your faces, I can see my mother and my father. I see my countries who came here and who came many years ago without the language and without papers and without knowing the customs of this country. And in one generation, we go from immigrants to legislatures. I hope that I can see more of you leaders in this building. I want you to. Yo quiero a Marian Becerra del Centro. I hope that she throws her head on in to be a legislature here. I wanna see people here in this legislature, immigrants. You know. No, in the county commissioners or city council or the United States Congress. It's not just allies, but we are immigrants who are here in these positions. With this, I say goodbye. Thank you very much. There are some other friends here who are going to say something, and I hope to see you in person sometime soon. Thank you.
Right now we're going to talk to you
about economic relief. Lorena from Somos un Pueblo Unido will give a testimony.
Economic relief.
Are you ready, Lorena?
Are you ready?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hi.
Good afternoon. Briefly, I am going to.
I'm Lorena Sanchez.
I'm Lorena Sanchez from
Somos Chavez, organizer from Somos un Pueblo Unido, and I'm going to talk to you the proposal that we're going to be fighting for, which is the economic relief. We started in December of 2020 with the Human Services Department. And
in English it is HSD,
who contributed 22.
They have given us economic help to economic
12 million economic relief to the families in the state. In total, there were 2,800 Mexicans who received this economic relief from the Human Services Department. But no.
However,
thousands did not qualify because they didn't receive the relief. What we want to do during this legislature is to assign 15.6 million of the Human Services Department of ARPA from Human Services.
That would provide $600 to 26,000 adults of low-income people who did not receive from the federal stimulus checks.
¿Qué pasó? What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? See? Yes, we've been
Is interpretation being heard?
What's the problem?
Floor is interpreting into English.
There's two people interpreting at the same time.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Could you ask Maria Cristina
to
check her messages, please?
One moment.
Her WhatsApp messages.
Para que todos podamos escuchar bien a las personas que están hablando y dándonos mucha información. And then for those, I want to say again and remind those who are not speaking, please put yourself on mute so we can hear those who are speaking. Thank you. And then we're still waiting on...
Parece que estamos bien ahora. It seems we're okay now. Viviana, can you hear me? Okay, so we're ready. I see you can hear me now in the English channel.
Yes.
Good, you can hear me. So we'll continue. We'll follow with Lorraine and then with Senator Leo Jaramillo. I am done with my part. Would you like me to repeat? Or are we good? We're going to leave it as it is. Now we pass the mic to Senator Leo Jaramillo.
Muy buenas noches a todos ustedes. I wish my Spanish was as good as all of yours, but that doesn't mean that my heart isn't in the right place, because I stand as your ally and as your friend, not only in the New Mexico Senate, but also from the beautiful Española Valley. You know, I like to say that you're not an immigrant community, you are a community. We're all Nuevo Mexicanos who want what's best for our families, for our children, and for a better tomorrow. And because of that, we're one community of New Mexicans. You know, I was really disappointed in seeing the research that came out on a poll that talked about the Latino population, including immigrants who continue to struggle financially as a result of the ongoing COVID pandemic. You know, I read that 1,000 Latino families were surveyed in December 2021, with a significant portion who have lost income, have increased debt, exclusion from government stimulus rebates and unemployment benefits, and we need to do better to protect all of our families in New Mexico. And so with that, Representative Javier talked about the amazing things that the House and the Senate have done. He has been a champion for the community for years, and I love that I get to work alongside him and other elected officials in New Mexico. Now, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I stand with you with the $15.6 million for HST to distribute cash assistance to people left out of the stimulus dollars and unemployment. And I also want to make sure that I stand with you on the $25 million in stimulus dollars for 50,000 low-income families left out of last year's $600 state stimulus rebates. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and you can help. Reach out to your senators, to your representatives, and tell them the importance of standing by you as members of our community. Come to the Roundhouse, come and see me, come and see anyone else, and let's get together with our allies to make change and make things better, because we are all hardworking people. My parents were custodians, and I understand work that all of us do can't be ignored. We need to be taken care of. Muchísimas gracias to all of you for coming this evening, and I look forward to continuing to work with you.
Buenas tardes, pues nos faltó yo creo ahorita el testimonio de Inés Carrillo, no sé si se encuentra ahorita.
We were missing Inés Carrillo's testimony. I don't know if she's here and she would like to give her testimony. Inés Carrillo or Carla Antoine, are you here for your testimony? Either one of the two, would you please come to the mic? I am Carla Choldo. I am a member of Somos St. Chavez. This is the local group in Roswell. This pandemic made it very difficult for me because I had my children with me when the state and the schools closed, and my bills went up, and also consumption of food at home. My children require more attention in all aspects, and everything from there got more complicated for me. Even to the point that I had to choose between supporting my children in their new challenges when they started to go to school by online.
Sí, te escuchamos.
Ok, como les comento,
So as I was saying, I had to. I was forced to to choose between supporting my children or working a few hours.
Sí, mija, pero está hablando otra persona.
ok, pues fue una gran preocupación para mí.
It was really a great concern to me to be thinking whether I would be able to provide
todas las necesidades de mi hogar.
for all the needs of my family, to pay the bills, to pay the rent, to provide food. The state helped me a lot. I received one of the relief checks that the state provided, and that was a lot of support for me because that helped me pay part of my bills. That's why I think you should support the New Mexico people and take into account the people who do not qualify to receive federal assistance. Thank you. Ms. Carrillo is also with us. She wanted to give her testimony. Ms. Carrillo.
Ok, entonces si gustas, Viviana, seguir adelante.
Muchas gracias, Alondra, y también
Thank you, Alondra. Can you hear me? Excuse me, I couldn't hear. I am Inés Carrillo. I am a member of Somos Acción here in Santa Fe, and I have a testimony that I would like to transmit to all of our legislators who are with us today. If you allow me, I will read my testimony. I have 3 children and a small granddaughter. I am a single mother. I have been living in the US for 25 years, and I have been paying my taxes as any citizen. I have worked very hard all these years, and now during the pandemic, I had to get the only available job that I could get. It was a job in landscaping. Unfortunately, that work used to be by men. We didn't do, as women, we didn't do that kind of job. But I had to do that because I couldn't find any other job. As an essential worker, I had to take that job. Currently, I continue to work because my son is in college, and he does not qualify 100% for financing. And that adds to my expenses, like many other families. And I also need to pay my rent and public services. I didn't qualify for any federal stimulus or unemployment as 30,000 other families were waiting that federal stimulus assistance here in New Mexico. Unfortunately, we are still suffering the pandemic effects. We're living day to day and with debts. On behalf of all our working families, still behind in the economic recovery. I am asking wholeheartedly all our legislators to provide us with economic relief because we need it. Many families were waiting for that support. I thank you in advance on behalf of all the families that are waiting some economic relief. Thank you. I would like to thank Representative Javier Martinez,
Senator Leo Jaramillo. I would like to thank him to come to our forum.
To pass the,
And I'm going to
the
Montoya.
Roger Montoya, Representative Roger Montoya.
Hello to everybody. I'm Rogelio Montoya. And the legislature in New Mexico. In a very rural part of New Mexico. I have the counties of Mora, Fax County,
Colfax, Rio
Rio, San Miguel,
amongst
other places. It's a great honor
for me to be here with you tonight. I would like to tell you that the work Somos does, Somos Santa Fe, Somos Acción, these are organizations that are at the heart of the future. For more than 30 years, I work in the public schools, in art, movement, music, preparing food, with families and children. And this connection, this is what encourages me in my work for you. Another thing that is very important for me is infrastructure, housing. People, families are lacking services like electricity, food, good streets, electricity, access to internet. Things that for most people who live in the US, especially in urban areas,
comunidades inmigrantes.
That's normal for immigrant families.
And your needs and your traumas and your dreams. And I carry it in the center of my heart every day. Another thing that I'm very proud of is Representative Javier Martinez carries a law, a proposal of education proposal. I'm going to speak English now because this is a...
In menos de 1 year, we're going to have the opportunity to vote for a constitutional cambio amendment that will allow a lot of money to go towards education for early childhood. It's muy importante cuando los niños están chiquillos, 1 año hasta 3.
It's very important when the kids are small, from 1 to 3, the development, their brain development, their heart, their connection with their mothers, who are a very important part.
Falta mucho, okay? High school, entre
We need so much. Higher ed. College now it's almost free. Michelle Lujan is trying to pass a bill that so that education is free for all of our people, and I think now is the time. Once our future voters, yet education is the best thing for economic situation, for your health, to have families that have everything.
Gente en Nuevo México para tener
To have jobs, very good jobs, safe homes, very large schools ready to give us, to our children, las,
se agarran sus futuros. Muchas gracias a todos.
for their future. Thank you to everybody. My way of talking is a little pocho. It's part of my mestizaje, and it's a very large honor to give you something of my heart, of my total heart. Thank you very much, and good night. Forward to with the struggle together. Thank you very much for everything that you have done to us. That we feel your presence and your power and your support. And I'm going to talk to another one of our Maribel Conde is going to talk to us about stimulus, economic stimulus.
Hola, buenas noches a todos. Mi nombre es Maribel Conde y yo les estoy hablando de aquí de Española.
I'm talking to you from Española.
Y yo nomás les quiero
And I want to say,
contar un poco sobre esto. Es que nosotros estamos
I want to
tratando
tell
de
you about
lograr
this.
asignar
We want
de 25 y 30 millones adicionales al Departamento de los Impuestos
we want
e
to get
ingresos que por sus
more money from
para proporcionar a las familias de bajos ingresos que son
to give the
recientemente
people
elegibles
of
para
low
el
income who are
WFTC. Es una devolución de
for
impuestos
the
adicionales de
WFCC is
600 en estos hogares, alrededor de
600
40,000 jóvenes
dollars
contribuyentes y 10,000 contribuyentes
additional
inmigrantes
tax returns for families
número
of
de
low
ITIN no
income.
fueron elegibles para el crédito
And
al impuesto
because
para
they
las familias
weren't,
trabajadoras.
They didn't
En el
qualify for
2021 y
the in
nosotros
2020
no
for
recibieron
the
el
relief.
reembolso estatal
In
de 600.
2021 they
Estos
didn't
contribuyentes
receive
serán
more than
elegibles a partir del
600.
1 de
These
enero de este
con-
año
These people who
2022,
contribute to our
debido a un cambio en la
community
ley
will be
realizado por la legislatura a principios del año pasado.
will be able to receive these economic
Y esa es la
relief that they
información que yo
didn't
les
do
tengo y
last year.
tengo también una
This
persona que puede dar su testimonio
an
de cómo a
information
ella le
that
va a
I have,
beneficiar este año
and I can
el
pass
tener
this
esos
to a
600
person
dólares
of how
adicionales.
they're going to, how that's going to help them to get $600 more. We are talking about Lucero, España.
Mi persona del testimonio se llama Rocío Alcántara.
I have Rocío Alcántar from Española. Can you give your
Buenas
testimony?
tardes, mi nombre es Rocío
Good
Alcántara.
afternoon, I'm Rocío
Soy
Alcántar,
miembro de Somos
and
Acción
I'm a member of Somos
Yo
Acción
trabajo
from Española. I work in the in
Durante esta
agriculture.
pandemia
During the
se
pandemic,
vio afectado mi trabajo
My-
por 3 meses,
my job was affected
Lo cual
for
afectó mi
during 3
economía
months,
al no poder
which
pagar
affected
mis
my finances because I
Gracias
couldn't
a
pay
que
my
pasó
bills on time.
la
Thank God,
deducción de
thanks to
impuestos, la deducción de impuestos de
the
600
tax returns
adicionales,
of $600,
los cuales
additional
me
$600, they
beneficiarán
really
en mi declaración de impuestos
they
de este año,
benefited me in my
lo cual
my
usaré para
taxes this
beneficio
year.
de mi hogar.
and I'm going to use it for the benefit of my
Gracias, que tengan
home,
buena tarde.
paying my rent and my bills. Thank you. Can we listen to Lucero, España? And if she's not here, I am mother of a little. You know, my baby was born in the middle of the pandemic. We have worked very for many years we have always worked and paid taxes, and we could not apply for unemployment, nor the federal stimulus. The pandemic caused a very economic crisis, but it has really hurt families like us because of the reliefs from economic reliefs from the government is not enough, and the federal is not. We have doubts to pay, and my husband is the only one that's working because I have to take care of my little kid. These type of incentives will help us get ahead little by little. So I asked our legislature to please support the additional credit of 600 for families, low-income families. Thank you. Thank you for our very uh, courageous people. Can no, no puedo oír. I can't hear. No puedo oír. I can't hear anything. We couldn't hear. Very bad. We can't hear. We can hear. The sound is very bad. I'm sorry. No one can hear in English or in Spanish. We had a problem with the sound.
¿Quiere volver a intentar?
If you want to try again.
¿Qué tal si le pasamos por mientras el tiempo a...
Let's go now. Alicia from New Mexico Cafe to see if we can fix it because it was very good afternoon. I'm a member of Cafe in Las Cruces. I also had the pandemic. The pandemic really affected me. I am a restaurant employee, as they call us essential workers. I only had 3 days of work, and I have 3 children, and one of my son also worked at restaurant. Closed. They couldn't open it. So I was very short with my bills. The 3 days only helped me to buy food to eat. So it's very difficult. I didn't get any of the stimulus reliefs, and I didn't qualify for any of them. And in this case, if you could give us more stimulus that would support us, our immigrant communities that haven't received anything. There were very cruel moments for us during the pandemic. I went to the hospital with a tumor in my breast, and we don't have any insurance, and so I owe a lot. I hope you can approve this so that you can support us in our health and economically. I have a girl that is graduating from high school. I don't know how long she can continue studying, to what grade. I hope you can support us. We are a community that works and pays all the taxes, and I hope you support us. Thank you. Thank you to all that have talked, who shared your testimony. I thank you for your valor. I'm gonna. Hello. Good evening, all of you. I am Angelica Rubio. I represent the city of Las Cruces. Today I'm here in Santa Fe. I'd rather be in the desert, but I'm here in the river. I'm here, as you know, all of you, we are in a pandemic, and and everything. We, our reality is it's very strange. Just to say it in those words, as you know, before I used to work with Cafe. Many of you are family, and I'm very grateful to be here with you. This is sixth year that I come to the legislature, and these last years we have been working to help raise our community, especially the communities who have lived in a lot of poverty, and we're trying to break that injustice. We're trying to do the best we can in this session. I don't know how much you have talked about this session tonight, but just in brief, last year we worked, all of us in this call, to pass paid to pass paid sick leave. This July is going to start paid sick leave. I'm very proud to have worked on this on on this bill, on this law, and we're going to continue this year, so that everything that we need in our community, so that those who are sick have the right to those benefits in their jobs, to paid sick leave. I always want to talk. I am a daughter of immigrants. My father and my mother are from Ojinaga, Chihuahua, and they've been here more than 60. They they live in Lake Arthur, north of Artesia, and near Roswell. And a lot of what we talk in this state has to do with, in many cases, and I think that,
I would like my
and I wanted my voice in this legislature,
the voice of others who are elected to this legislature, continue to work for all of you and doing the best for our immigrant communities. This year it's very important for me in the legislature. First meeting of the committee tomorrow, I hope you can call and ask for their support, is number 65, and it's regarding the protection of renters. As you know, with this pandemic, has had a terrible effect in renters in New Mexico. Their situation has become very serious because they have been expelled from their homes. And Representative Martinez, we have been working to improve the rules and the system regarding housing in New Mexico. Unfortunately, last year, the legislature that we were trying to pass went through the House of Representatives but didn't pass the Senate. However, today we were able to revive this, even if it is only one part. And tomorrow we'll have the first meeting in the committee. I hope that you can, if this is an important subject for you, to protect renters so that they have more time and they can remain in their homes, call tomorrow at 1:30. Call the members of the representatives or senators, because we will be presenting this proposal. This is one of priorities this year. So that's proposed Bill 65. This is not exactly what we proposed last year. It's a little bit reduced in the scope, but I think that it includes let's say, the beginning of a program that we can continue to propose in the legislature in the next few years. I hope it is something that we can discuss after, after this year. I also wanted to mention to you that here in New Mexico, we are one of those governments that is not very modern. We are the only ones who do this as volunteers. As legislators, we don't have a salary to do this work. For many of you who are working in our communities, you deserve to have elected representatives. But many times it's not possible. Javier Martinez and I, we are working right now trying to propose a law that can modernize our legislature a little bit. We'll continue with that conversation in the next few days. But I would appreciate if you support also the Bill 66. I will send you information by Zoom so that you can call tomorrow. I will include it in the chat or send it through Iviana. I thank you for having me here tonight. I am very happy to see you all and grateful. And in any case, if you need anything, please call me. I will include my cell number, so if you want to send me a text or you want to call me. Or if you want to send me a prayer, that too. Thank you very much and have a good night. Thank you. We are very grateful because you have always given us your help. Angelica Rubio, you have always supported us. Last year we had a very hard work to do to get the sick leave paid. Thank you for all that, and we are very happy to have you here. We expect to continue with your cooperation. And now we pass the microphone to our Representative Tara Luján.
Can you hear me? You hear me good? Buenas tardes, everybody. I'm very happy to be here with you tonight, as always, and always willing to represent and to be part of the conversation and understand some of the, as a working mother myself, coming into the conversation and knowing that we need to protect the rights and we need to protect and talk about the issues that are surrounding our families and our working families and our immigrant families, and that goes all the way from what's going on with our healthcare, what's going on with the provisions we're doing, making for our taxes and how we need to move forward and making things more equitable, more reasonable, more safe for our communities. And I think I enjoyed listening to Representative Rubio now, and she talked a lot about some of the policies that she's working on with others, with Representative Andrea Romero, others that are working on some of the issues that we move forward, like with affordable housing and with the House Bill 20 that we passed last year for sick leave. We still have some things to do on that, and I know that Representative Chandler is working and signing on to some of her legislation, and Representative Ferrari also with some of our food insecurities legislation, and Senator Rodriguez and working and supporting this legislation for affordable housing. But I sat down, I believe it was maybe a week and a half ago, with with Somos and with Marcela. And thank you, Marcela, for having me here today and speaking and support and talking with our communities. There's just so much to do, and there's a lot of information that a lot of things we thought we were going to be able to do to get through, and then, at the last minute, things change. So I just want to say that, we really need to be keeping our eye on how the things that we need to get done and accomplished to help our working families, to help especially our working mothers in our communities where our mothers are doing all the work. We know that we haven't recovered, and that women, especially our moms that are out there, are still the ones that are suffering the most. And so we need to really be coming together and identifying how we're going to be able to do that. But things feel like the rug sometimes is getting pulled from under us, and we don't understand the process. So I'd like to, always put myself in place of helping you or the communities, anybody with any questions and how the process is working, and really making sure that if there's frustration or there are things that are not being answered, that you have us to come to us and ask us so that we're working for you, because we are your representatives, whether we're from Santa Fe, whether we're from Las Cruces, we're from Farmington, or wherever we're from. That we have communities that need us from across our state, and all of us are your representatives, and you have an open door with us so that we are addressing what's going on, because it's hard, especially even during this time of COVID, to get information, to be on top of the information. So please make sure you stay in contact with us. You have your allies, of course, as you know, and I'm here for you as well as others, but make sure that you are contacting us, all of your representatives and senators, to get information. And I'll put my information in the chat box here, but
y mantenerse al día, pero por favor asegúrese que se mantienen en contacto con nosotros.
Inés, por favor, se pone en mudo, por favor, en silencio, gracias.
I don't know if she was talking for me, but this is what's really important with the process right now. And this is my second year regular session, but I've also worked on the Senate side, and worked on policy, and worked with then Senator Javier Martinez, who's our lieutenant governor now, who is a very good ally with us as well. But understanding how the process works and being available to you, you can always call me. You can like Representative Rubio said, send us a text, send us an email, call us directly, and we will get the information and get answers for you, because it is really frustrating, especially when we think that we're making some progress and we're getting some things done, and then all of a sudden, funding and things are pulled back, and we just sometimes don't even know what the heck's going on. Even ourselves, we sometimes don't understand, how certain things are happening, but we will get you information, and we're here to work for you. That's our job. And I want to thank Representative Rubio and Representative Javier. They are working on a modernization bill for the legislature. I hope we come to some kind of compromise, because I know the Senate is doing a version themselves, something that I've actually been looking at as well. But this is something that we really need. We need some reform in these areas. But more importantly, we need to work with you and reforms that are going to help our immigrant communities, our working communities, and our working mothers, especially, and women that are not. Really, they're the ones that are getting the short end of the stick, so to speak, because we are the caregivers, we are the mothers, we're tending to our kids, we're doing all these things while trying to make ends meet through this pandemic. So please stay in contact with us. Like I said, I'll put my information here, and whatever you need, whenever you need anything, call, text, or email, and we'll do our best to get the answers, or to get the work done and get the support behind the legislation that is already moving forward, and there's a lot of it. But I just want to thank you, Marcela, and all the women and everybody here tonight, and everybody in all the communities that are working together, because the way we carry these messages and the way we get this work done is all of us working together, and all of us caring and working from a place of compassion. So that has always been what you have done, and I'm always been in the highest respect for our organizations that are doing this work, and I'm happy to help you in possible way. So thank you. Have a very blessed night. God bless you all. And please stay in touch. And whatever I can do, I will. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, representante Tara Luján. Le agradecemos mucho su liderazgo. Aún sabemos que hay mucho trabajo por hacer, pero les agradecemos a todos ustedes por ser campeones para todas nuestras comunidades migrantes. Ahora les cedo el espacio a la senadora Linda López. Adelante.
Buenas noches a todos. Y, gracias por la invitación de estar aquí con ustedes. Perdón que llegué un poquito tarde, pero el tráfico aquí en Albuquerque es algo más. Bueno, pues también estoy agradecida a todos de ustedes que están aquí por invitarme, pero también gracias por el trabajo que todos ustedes están haciendo y han hecho y que van a hacer. Es parte de la comunidad. Y aquí en el Valle del Sur, aquí en Albuquerque, tenemos también una vecindad, como yo digo, que estamos trabajando siempre de hacer que necesitamos con nuestras familias. Y bueno, pues con la legislación que todos los representantes han hablado, estoy de acuerdo con ellos y a ver si la legislación viene al otro lado en el Senado, pero si viene voy a votar en favor de todo porque necesitamos otra vez ayudarnos. ¿Cómo? ¿No? Y bueno, también como decimos, algunos de nuestra comunidad que no...
say, the people in our community who haven't received the relief, they should receive this relief. We are still negotiating and to see what's going to happen, and we're starting to talk about to see what goes forward. But as others have said, I am here to work with you and to represent you, and here we are. And if you want to ask me something, I'm going to have my cell here. Send me a text if you want, and I will answer it. I can answer very fast, but give me a minute and I will respond. I'm here to help you and to receive you. We're all together. Many of us are women and long-lived women, and also men, and everybody together. We can do what we need to do. Thank you to everybody, and blessings to everybody.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much to Linda Lopez. Thank you for all your support. Our representative always traveling for us. It's great to have her here. We have here Antoine Pedigo Lopez is here. Forward. Can you see me? I'm sorry I got late because I just got out of a committee and I'm a little tired, but I'm very happy to be here. My name is Antoine Pedigo Lopez. I'm from Albuquerque, and many of you know it because for 3 years I was the director of Enlace Comunitario, and with that I focused on the rights of immigrants, and I worked for a long time to try to get ICE out of from the buildings, the courthouses, yes. And also now I'm working on un proyecto de ley in a bill that's happened helping people who don't speak English, who have limited English in all the services the state provides. Proyecto de ley. Proyecto de ley. But the bill passed Friday, from the first committee in the House. Este proyecto de ley es para is to help all the agencies who need to know who can figure out what level of language people need, because every time I talk to agencies, yes, we have access to people who don't speak English, but I hear a lot of people. No, they say I went to the agency, but they didn't help me because I didn't speak English. And this bill is going to help a lot people who don't speak English who speak Spanish, or maybe they speak other languages like Dene, like the Chinese, or people, Asians, people, Asian languages. We have a lot of people from Asia in our state, and they don't have access to the service, especially during COVID. They didn't know they had benefits because they didn't have access to the language, and that's why this bill. Please tell me how to say bill in Spanish. Propuesta de ley.
Propuesta, sí, gracias.
Thank you. This bill, it got out of the first committee. Representative Kate Punca, who was director of the family service of Asian Family Services when I was in Enlace Comunitario. We are both here in the legislature, and we both are. We put money in this fund to be able to coordinate the service. And I'm very happy that this is happening. And I think that many of you, many people in your group, gave testimony in the case that passed Friday. And thank you very much for that. As you see, that was incredible. There was so much support in the community. All the Democrats said yes, but the Republicans said no. They say no. This is a federal right, not a state right, and so that was their excuse for not voting. Not the reasons, but the bill passed, and they're going to the next committee. But now it has money. The bill does, the proposal. Every legislature. Voy a volver al inglés.
Interpret for me because I'm tired. But each legislature has a pot of money that they call the junior bill money, and both Kay Bunka and I are putting $50,000 each to have a coordination of all of the agency's language access plans, and that will enhance language access services for everybody in the state, everybody who have limited English language speaking ability. And so I'm very excited and proud about that bill. And I again want to thank all of you, because many people who are on this call, well, I don't know how many, but many people testified, but I know that there were people on this call who testified and it made a difference. So I really appreciate that. And I always stand with you. I thought that the study that came out with regard to who was left behind in COVID was very, very powerful, and we need to use it as advocacy. And I spoke with our Senate Pro Tem, Mimi Stewart, and she seemed very concerned about that too. So we just need to keep pushing and keep moving, and pues si se puede, y no hay de dejar a pelear por nuestros derechos. So thank you again for all of your advocacy, all of the individual advocacy, all of the organizational advocacy. You make us feel when we're working for you that it matters, and that's what's important, is this work matters. Pues muchísimas gracias y buenas noches.
Muchas gracias a usted, senadora Cedillo López, por todo su apoyo. Sabemos que siempre contamos con usted ahí en la sesión legislativa, en el Capitolio, y nos sentimos muy agradecidos con todos ustedes, todos los representantes que han estado esta noche con nosotros.
We really thank Anthony Cedillo Lopez for all her support and all the representatives who have supported us. And now we're going. And she's going to talk about economic stimulus. One moment, please.
Listo, un segundo.
One moment. Can you hear me? Sí la podemos. I'm sorry that I couldn't hear that. I'm going to start again. I'm sorry for all the mess. My name is Clarice Corbello. I live in Santa Fe. Can you hear me? We were hearing you double. Can you hear me now? Sí, yes. Now, yes. I live in Santa Fe. I am the member of the Centro de Igualdad de Derechos, that every state in New Mexico, this state of New Mexico could include the people who pay with 18 for 2022. The pandemic had affected us drastically, not only to our health, but our economy. We have lost our work, and some of us could work a little bit. And it also, the pandemic affects us emotionally. I have benefited by twice because of the economic relief, but cost of life is affecting my family, and I'm running out of my reserves. I'm working right now full time, but because the cost of life has increased so much this last year, I can't pay for all my bills. I just pay the basic like rent and food and gas, but everything costs much more than what it cost last year. I had a health emergency. The state invested $600 for the credit for 2021, and because of our tax reform, and because it wasn't effective until 2022. So our families were excluded. We want that the state of New Mexico invest in the stimulus and give us the stimulus that we didn't receive, and give us another stimulus this year. Our economic realities haven't gotten any better. Thank you. Thank you very much. These are the changes for voters, and this is Gladys Saucedo is going to talk to us about that. Gladys, are you ready? Good afternoon. My name is Gladys Salcedo, and I am a member of in Roswell. I have another initiative to change to the law that regulates the vote in New Mexico to make it easier to have this right in our communities because we have difficulties to vote. The proposals that we propose is this, to send the electoral ballots to an absentee voting, to change the dates from Friday to Sunday so we have more time to vote. The day to make the election day a day without work. Another one is to register people and that you can vote and one for everybody in in other changes. Now there are 50,000 residents that are eligible to vote. These changes will make a big difference in to change the Democratic Senate or the Republican. We need these changes that will make vote more inclusive, especially in our community that many times they can't exercise the right to vote because it is so complicated to vote.
Ahorita tenemos la palabra a nuestra compañera María
I'm going to
Tercera.
pass the microphone to María Tercera from Somos Acción. Good afternoon. My name is María Reina Tercero. I am a member of Somos Acción in Santa Fe. I process my citizenship with Ciudadanía Ya, citizenship now. I am originally from Nicaragua and I have lived in the US almost 30 years. I just became a US citizen in September. I'm excited because this year I will have the possibility to vote for the first time in my community. If the changes that legislate voting in New Mexico are carried out, it will be much easier for new voters like me to exercise our right to vote, given that these changes will reflect our values and will support our immigrant community. These changes will remove many of the barriers that make voting complicated. It would be a big relief to me not having to deal with online applications in order to get an absentee ballot. Also, to be able to have a ballot that simplifies my choices and ability to choose. Excuse me. It would be great for me not having to deal with online applications in order to send an absentee ballot. Also, it would be great for me to have a ballot that simplifies my choices and gives me the ability to choose candidates from my party in one box. That would be a great change for me. Voting access. Let's not be complicated, and the changes currently proposed to the legislature make voting more accessible. We need an efficient, secure, and inclusive voting system. That's why I'm asking our legislators to support the changes to the law that governs the right to vote. Thank you very much.
Enseguida tenemos a nuestra compañera del centro,
Now
Adriana.
we have our friend Adriana Bustillos from El Centro. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yes. Go ahead. I am Diana Bustillos. I am trying to work for the vote. I work at home with the people of the third age. I am very excited to be here with in an event of the community. I know the importance of Hispanic vote and to ensure that we protect the rights of voters. We need to make sure that our representatives hear us so that the project of the electoral rights in New Mexico will ensure that every voter is able to vote in a safe and equitable way. There are other states that are approving voting laws that are inclusive. We need to take action and protect access to voting. I am excited to tell you that I have decided to process my citizenship. We need to make the government act on their promises. And I love Mexico. I want Mexico to be a state where all our families have the opportunity to prosper. With our vote, we can elect candidates that can represent our values and principles. For instance, that they pay sick leave days, economic stimulus that show that our state recognize our contributions as essential workers and taxpayers. Around 18,000 people have become citizens since 2014. Most of them are women, around 57%. Around half of them are younger than 45 years old when they become citizens. Becoming a citizen, I joined a group of multinational and multi-generational political force in the next elections. This electoral law in New Mexico could eliminate barriers for all voters, including communities of color and new voters, new citizens, voters, as I will be. I am also calling on permanent residents of New Mexico that qualify to become citizens so that they process their citizenship, because that way we'll be able to protect our families and communities with our vote. I am asking all of you, if you or one of your loved ones is able to take this next step to become a citizen, please join organizations like El Centro and Somos. And if you can vote, please go ahead. And if you can work to protect the rights of voters, take action now, because your voice makes a difference. Thank you. Thank you, Diana, and all of you who have given your testimony. We appreciate your testimonies. Before passing on to the next subject, we want to go back to our colleague Alondra Ortega. She will talk a little bit to us about the economic relief. Go ahead, Alondra, please. Can you hear me? Good afternoon. Yes, go ahead. My name is Alondra Ortega. I have 2 girls and we live in Los Lunas, New Mexico. I work at home and I clean houses. We are very proud of the work that our community has done during this pandemic to ensure that our state government invests in our families, including families of mixed status. In economic recovery, when the pandemic started, my husband and I lost our jobs. Then we got COVID. And what's worse, my husband was detained by immigration. During the time that he was detained, my children and I were very in anguish. We were unable to pay the trailer where we were living. The payments started to accumulate. Medical expenses increased. I had to pawn my car and I had to go out asking for food. investments of local and state government, their help helped me pay electricity, to be able to offer my daughters a warm home, because everything we have in the trailer is electric. My economic situation hasn't improved. The cost of living has been higher than my ability to cover my expenses. I don't have unemployment benefits or help, or can participate in health programs. I am urging the state to invest in our families, that you use the ARPA money to provide economic relief and stimulus, so that New Mexican families like my family, who have helped the economy for so many decades, we are part of the economic recovery through policy of common sense that can help directly families that have been left behind. Thank you. Thank you, Alondra, for your testimony. As she says, we are calling the legislators to help our families.
Ahora me gustaría ceder.
Now, I would like to pass the space to Zulema. She will talk to us about some changes to the Constitution of New Mexico. Thank you, everybody. I know you are already tired. This is a little bit long event, but this information is the last proposal we have. We promise you that. It's very interesting, as all proposed bills we have mentioned in this forum. These all benefit our immigrant working community. We are always looking for changes in the laws that can benefit the immigrant community and workers. This clause, I'm sorry, let me introduce myself. I am Zulema of Somos Acción. The proposal we are supporting is a change in a clause anti-donation that is included in the Constitution of New Mexico, that was established in 1912 to avoid frauds in railroad companies, but it's still current, and it has had some changes to allow the government to provide scholarships and help with housing and for economic development locally. This clause prohibits direct appropriation and donations or subsidies of the state to any person, association, non-profit organization, or any other private entity to give donations. Despite the changes that have happened in the past, this clause makes it difficult to use economic funds for the well-being of the public in general. It complicates the disbursement process and delays actions in local budgets at the time of considering projects for non-profit organizations. In a few words, this clause complicates the way in which people could be helped directly and through also some organizations. It complicates the economic relief in case of disasters to individuals or non-profit organizations. And these are our proposals. We want to make a change so that small obstacle in the Constitution can be removed in order to be able to access the economic relief that we have been mentioning during this forum, so that it becomes a little bit less complicated. And obviously we want this clause to comply with the purpose of its creation, which was to use properly the funds of the state, taking into account the public and community well-being. We want to eliminate obstacles to provide economic relief in case of disaster. We wanted to make it more viable and easier to understand. The process to have this approved is a little bit longer because we're talking about the Constitution. First, it has to be approved by the legislature, and then it has to be included in electoral ballots, and it is voters who decide if the change can be carried out or not. We're asking the legislators to make these changes to be able to have access to funding to provide this help that we have mentioned and to continue with the mission of our organizations in this community. This is what I wanted to share with you. I would also like to tell you that in order to support us, you can send a petition to our representatives, to our senators. We have that included in the page of Somos Acción. I'm going to show you here how that page looks. Please send this petition so that we can get this economic relief that we have been talking about. It's necessary to ask them to support us in all the proposals that we have mentioned in this forum so that we can have the economic relief, so that we can get the reimbursement of the $600 additional dollars, so that we can make changes in favor of voters, which are all of them very important for our community.
This is how
this
the page of
Somos
Somos
Acción
Acción
page. You
is
can
seen.
Google it.
We can share our link.
Facebook.
The petition is right
The
there, ready.
petition is ready. You can send it right away. You can do it after this forum.
Change it
So
right
that,
after the
legislators
forum so that
hear from us.
the legislators
Liliana will be
can hear our voices. And now, Viviana, thank you very much, Zulema. I think we have come to the end of our forum. I would like to send it to Fabiola from El Centro, who is going to close. Go ahead, Fabiola. Good night to everybody. Thank you for being with us in the Day of Action of Immigrants and the Workers. We're going to close because this afternoon, what we do, and to get all that energy, take it out to fight for our people, we're going to finish with a yell, a cry. We are not one, we are not 100, we are million, count as well. We are new voters, new people. We are ready to take off your mute so that everybody can talk. Everybody's going to talk.
No somos uno, no somos uno.
We are uno. We are not one. We are not 100. We are millions.
No somos
count us correctly. No somos uno. We are not one. We are not two. We are millions. Count us well.
Ya acabamos.
I think that's it. I think we finished.
bien.
Muchas gracias a todos. Thank you, all of you, for being here. Hey.
Muchas gracias,
Thank you. Senator Linda Lopez for being for us, all our representatives. I don't know if Senator Cedillo, all our representatives who were here, Tara Lujan, who is still here, but thank you to all of them for being with us today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Sí, o sea, cerraron con la porra del centro.
No. Andamos aventándonos la porra del centro. Un poquito descoordinados. Un poquito descoordinados con la porra.
Un poquito.
A la otra la vamos a hacer por pausas. Uno, no somos dos. Somos millones. La que sigue.
Cuéntenos bien.